Good afternoon. I'm Mao Ye from University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. It is my honor to chair this session. Let us, in this session, we have six papers. We are glad to invite the first speaker. The presentation title is Social Media as Information Support in Reducing COVID-19 Depressions, Self-Efficacy as a Mediator for Behavior Modeling. The author is Sakip,
Yes.
Zhang Xiaoyun, and Wang Weidong. So let us welcome the first speaker.
Oh, thank you so much. So, welcome to my presentation. This is Sakib from School of Management Science and Engineering, Shandong University of Finance and Economics. So, I am going to deliver my presentation on a paper which is titled as Social Media as Information Support in Reducing COVID-19 Depressions, Self-Efficacy as Mediator for Behavioral Modeling. So this is the outline of my presentation. First of all, the motivation. The prime motivation of this research is to address the mental health challenges during COVID-19 and tackling the pandemic derived depression. As you already know that since the emergence of COVID-19, people's life has greatly been disturbed and people have become more depressed. All types of physical and interacting movement has been imposed restriction. As a result, we can see a tendency in people spending more time on the social medias than the usual one, and it has become one of the alternative way to interact and information sharing. Whereas in the previous researches, we can see that the intensive use of social media can increase the stress directly or indirectly. So, to solve this complex issue, we tried to assess the role of self efficacy on information support from social media and COVID 19 depressions. So, this is the methodology. In our hypothesized model, we introduced an independent variable which is information support from social media, and dependent variable which is COVID 19 depression, and a mediatory factor which is self efficacy. So, through our model, we wanted to investigate if information support from social media has negative relation with COVID 19 depression, and secondly, whether the self efficacy mediates the relationship between information support from social media and COVID 19 derived depressions. So, before going to the next part of this presentation, let's have a look what is self efficacy. So, this is a confidence of an individual that elaborates how wisely or badly that person can face a new situation with his skills in the given circumstances. And this term self efficacy was first introduced by Professor Albert Bandura. To achieve our goal, we performed a quantitative analysis through the questionnaire based survey among the social media users. So 59% of them were male and 41% were female. And the educational qualification of the respondents were almost 53% of the respondents holding bachelor degree, 25% of them are holding masters, 16.51% are college students, and the rest few amount of the respondents were from PhD and MBBS background. Now the measures. So basically we have measured three variables in our research. So first one was the information support from social media. We asked four questions to the respondents whether they follow any discussion groups or the forums that provide COVID-19 awareness, if this source somehow increase their consciousness, and if they might share this information with their near and dear ones, and how they get care back from them. Secondly, the COVID-19 depression. So we assessed these variable through 5 questions based on their current state of mental health, how well they are coping with the new normal pandemic situation, are they wasting too many time on the internet than usual, and how much they overcome the fear of losing someone by getting proper information and communication flow through the social medias. And finally, the self-efficacy was assessed through 4 questions based on whether they are capable to find the solutions when they experience an unexpected situation, and how efficiently they deal the COVID-19 derived complexities. So this is the full survey questionnaire we have used in this work. We have asked 7 demographic informations, including the age, the profession, the education level, and how many hours per day they spend on social medias, and so on. And the rest of the part containing the 3 variables to assess the contents. Now we come to the results. First of all, the SEM model fit analysis. SEM stands for the structured equation modeling, which was performed in SPSS AMOS. So if we look at the table 1, we can see the factor loadings of the indicators are above 0.6 level, excluding the parameter SE1 that is having 0.57, which is very close to 0.6. Then we can see that all the constructs are reliable, as the composite reliability values exceeded the threshold of 0.7 that was proposed by Nunali. And if we look at the AVE, that denotes average variance extracted, that was developed by Fornell and Laker. So they told that it must be exceed the value 0.50, and as you can see that all our 3 AVE values are above than 0.5. And in the table 2, we can see that path analysis and the model fit structural model. So all the indications are supporting our proposed model. Now move to the result of the mediation analysis. It was also performed in SPSS AMOS. So we can see that the indirect effect of self-efficacy was with a point estimate of 0.079. That indicates that the self-efficacy mediates the association between information support and depression. Now we come to the analysis of data from survey responses. First of all, we look at the parameter IS1, which denotes the level of following pages and discussion groups that providing information on COVID-19 among the male and female. So here we used the Likert scale value 1 to 5. The value 1 represents the lowest and 5 is the highest. So as we can see in the figure that respondents are believing they are following the updates, the informations that are providing COVID-19 on social medias. Now in the parameter IS2, we can see in the picture the percentage of respondents they are believing social media has increased their knowledge on COVID-19. So more than 65% respondents they believe that the social media has increased their knowledge on COVID-19. Now we will look at the parameter DEP1, which measures the level of depression after information support on COVID-19 among the male and female. So if we look at the figure, then we can see that a lot of respondents from female and male they went for the Likert scale point 1 and 2. So that reflects their reduction of depression in the support of information from social media. So lastly, we will see the parameter SE1, which is the level of self-efficacy on reacting efficiently to an unwanted situation among the male and female. So the respondents preferred that they have high self-efficacy on the basis of their response. So the conclusion, this study contributes and creates the further development of models explaining COVID-19 related depression and self-efficacy. And if we look at the picture in the right top, we can see that the association of self-efficacy and the COVID-19 depression are positive. That means if the self-efficacy has increased by 1 unit, the COVID-19 depression will also increase by 0.48 unit. So this happened here because when people are applying their higher self-efficacy for the first time, there is always a chance to mislead, to misuse that while they are expressing their emotions or their feelings, because the lack of experience and they don't know how to use in proper manner. As the Professor Bandura also stated that the self-efficacy itself is very mysterious in nature. Next, if we look at the path analysis between the information support and COVID-19 depression, we can see that the association between them is negative. So if the information support from social media increases by 1 unit, then the depression will be reduced by 0.33 unit. So that represents that the information support from social media helps to improving the mental health to its users. So based on our finding, we have to offer some strategies to the future SM users. First of all, they have to gain experience from an unpleasant live events, because with the experience they can get to know how to deal with this unpleasant situation, and altering self behavior with a mindset to help the others. Secondly, the SME users should have gained the ability to distinguish between fake news and the original ones, because we know that the social media has become one of the vast source of information and news nowadays, and with the authentic news, a lot of fabricated news also there. So if we cannot distinguish between the fake and the original one, there is a chance to get panicked anytime. And thirdly, the SM users would concentrate on developing their self-esteem, because a person with the low self-esteem can always deduct a negative aspect from an authentic news in the social media. So finally, the future work. Our current work tried to assess if self-efficacy influenced people to feel better against the intensive use of social media during pandemic, and more works needed in this field to evaluate the mysterious nature of self-efficacy and solve these complex sorts of problems. And future work may also be conducted on a large or specific population on other region of the world. And the future work also examine how the age, profession, financial condition, marital status, and the other factors can influence considering social media as an information source during the pandemic time. And finally, how the implications of the self-efficacy create impacts on social media information flow. So all these should be the future work to enrich this literature and the current work. So this is all from my presentation. Thank you all for having the patience.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from audience? Any questions? Well, I have a question.
Okay, sure.
Uh, uh, what's your behavior model? Is there any mathematical expressions?
Actually, the behavioral model we wanted to mean the strategies that we offered to the future social media users. So these three points we actually offered in terms of the behavioral modeling. As we said that the self-esteem, they have to develop on concentrating to develop their self-esteem, and they have to gain experience in dealing unpleasant life events, and they have to build how to distinguish between the original and fake news. We didn't give any model for the behavioral modeling, but we gave some suggestions how can they use their higher self-efficacy by altering these sort of things.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Sakib.
You are welcome.
Since there are no more questions, let us move to the next presentation.